It's your man Valentine. We're getting ready to sit down with the president and Mr. Soccer, Mr. Vancouver, president of Whitecaps, Bob Lenarduzzi. How you doing?
I'm good, Valentine. How are you?
Good. It's nice to meet you, man.
Nice to be here.
It's been a long time, because I know you grew up on the East Side. So, being in the East Side, let's talk about Empire Field. What was it like when they actually finished off and you guys had to move to BC Place, or is that what we're playing now?
BC Place.
Yeah.
Bell pitch at BC Place, yes.
So,
well, it was nostalgic to be able to go back to Empire Fields, in that when I played, which was a long time ago, the late 70s, or mid 70s to the mid 80s. Empire, we were there till 1983. So
right.
yeah, it was about 10 years. There were such good days, and I grew up in East Vancouver. My mom still lives a half a block away from the Pacific Coliseum. So for me, I would always, when I was a teen, wander over to Empire Stadium, which it was called at the time, and try to sneak into the BC Lions games. There wasn't any soccer at that time. So, and to be able to actually start my career there, and then with the rebirth of MLS or Major League Soccer in Vancouver, there was to be able to go back to where it all started, even if it was just for the 3 quarters of our season. It was very nostalgic for me and for our fans as well.
Right.
But then when we moved to BC Place, I think people had a real appreciation for what that venue now looks like, and the fact that it's a very soccer-specific stadium. Right.
And you playing soccer, was that like what you wanted to do, or was there something else?
No, that's all I wanted to do. From the time I could say, from the time that I could think, I just wanted to kick a ball and would be out in the back alley of my mom and dad's house and booting the ball against the garage, the neighbor's garage door, and having it come back and just doing that time and time again. And if anybody wanted to play, always happy to play soccer. So and really the foundation for wanting to be a pro soccer player, there wasn't any real substance to that, because there was no professional soccer in North America. But I was determined to do that, and at the age of 15, actually 14, I went over to England and began my professional career there. Nice.
Now, were your brothers, because it was Sam, right?
Sam.
And you have another brother?
Danny.
Danny.
I actually have an older brother as well, Vanny.
Vanny.
Yeah.
Now, were they instrumental in you playing soccer?
Yeah, my 2 older brothers were very instrumental. They were 6 and 8 years older, respectively. Right. So I would just tag along, and if there were uneven numbers, I'd be the guy to make up the even numbers, and would always get a game. So for me, it was modeling after my 2 older brothers, and we had a park at the time by my parents' house that was a block over on the 2800 block of Dundas. We were on Dundas, and a block over was a park called Callister Park, and it was the home for professional soccer at that time. You'd sit about 2,000 people in that stadium. So I was always there on weekends and watching as many games as I could. And in fact, I was a ball boy for a number of years there as well.
Now, and then playing for the Whitecaps, who was it? Was it Sam that played for the Whitecaps?
Sam played for the Whitecaps. Both Sam and I signed on at the same time in 1974. And then my younger brother, Danny, probably 1977, 78, signed. And there was one game where the 3 of us were on the field at the same time at Empire Stadium. And
now, is that the first where all brothers?
3 brothers? Yeah, I think in NASL history there wasn't another example of 3 brothers actually playing at the same time.
Wow. Now, how was Mom and Dad at the same time? How'd that make
Very
them
proud.
feel?
Very proud. Yeah. My mom never went to games. She was a little nervous about her boys being injured, but my dad was at every game, and but my mom would sit on the porch at our home in East Vancouver, and she'd be able to hear. She'd be able to know how things were going by the roar of the crowd, and if there were a lot of roars, then that meant we were doing quite well.
Nice. And now, growing up now to become the president, did you ever see yourself being the president of the Whitecaps?
The only thing that I committed to myself was I never wanted to get a real job. Right. And I still don't believe that I have a job. I'm involved in the sport that I played as a kid, and even though I'm not playing anymore, I'm still involved in the sport. I get the same feeling when I'm getting ready to watch the Whitecaps play that I got when I was a player. I'd get the butterflies in my stomach, and I would kick every ball and head every ball, even though I'm not on the field. And it's a wonderful feeling. I love the feeling. It's not a pleasant feeling sometimes, because when you don't do well, you're getting torn apart inside. But it's a feeling that if I ever stop having it, then I'll know that it's time to get out of the game.
Right. Now, at any point, being the president, was there any point that you felt like your job was in jeopardy to be the president?
Oh, well, my job was, in fact, I've been released as a player. I've been fired as a coach. So I've been through those adverse situations. But I was that idea that I didn't want to get a real job always drove me to pursue another opportunity in the game. And fortunately for me, my timing was good. If one opportunity ceased, there'd be another that would arise as a result. And I have been able to stay in the game as a player, as a coach, and now as an administrator. Nice.
Now, do you have say on anybody you bring in?
Well, it's a collaborative approach. Myself and the gentleman that is the director of soccer operations, Greg Henderson, and then our coach. But our coach has the ultimate final say. If his, for want of a better expression, if his neck is on the line, he should be the one making decisions on players.
Exactly.
And I've always been an advocate for that. Even as a coach, I didn't need anybody to tell me what player to pick or not pick. I think that responsibility, if you're hired to coach the team, you should have the final say. So the coach will connect with myself and with Greg, but ultimately he'll make that final call.
Okay. Now, we know you say you played soccer because you wanted to play, but we want to know, why did you decide to play? Because if that was the only thing, because you know Canadians, it's hockey. And we want to know why you decided to play the
Well, I think that my Italian background certainly had a lot to do with that. My parents immigrated from Italy in the mid-'50s, and my two older brothers played. They didn't play hockey, so I did what they were doing. And although I played street hockey, I played basketball in high school, I never got the same fulfillment from any of those sports that I got from soccer. Right.
Well, we got a couple. I guess we got a couple photos. I guess, and I think they're going to show some. There we go.
Yeah, that's actually the player that I'm playing against is another Canadian, Bronco Segota. He played for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers at that time.
Okay.
And that's Carl Valentine. We played indoor soccer. That was at the Pacific Coliseum. Take a look at those shorts. A little high, aren't they?
Those are some really high shorts, boy.
Yeah, not good.
Not good.
Actually, but what will happen is, in the 50s, they used to wear long shorts. Then we went to short shorts. At some point, it's going to go from the long shorts back to the short shorts again.
No.
None of us want that, but I think it's going to happen. It's inevitable.
Oh, man. Now, being on the grind and doing all the things that you can to make it to being the president. Now, I know everybody's not going to try to be the president, but we want to know, what can you tell these other people that are striving to be where you are? What can you tell them to inspire them to stay on the grind?
For me, it's just been pursuing my passion.
Right.
I am passionate about the game of soccer, and I did it as a youth because I loved it. Fortunately for me, I was passionate enough that I pursued the opportunity all the way to England at 14 years of age. Was there for 5 years and then came back and played with the Whitecaps. So I never actually sat down and laid out a series of objectives so that I could one day become the president. I didn't know whether I wanted to coach after I finished playing. I played, and the opportunity to coach became available, and I carried on doing that for a number of years, for about 10 years. Really didn't have the job skills to be an administrator. So the idea of being at a senior management level never really entered my mind. But to me, I was subconsciously setting out objectives as I went along, and I think it's as simple as, I don't want to get a real job. I want to do something for the majority of my life that I love doing, and soccer is what I love being a part of.
Nice. Now, what can we expect from the Whitecaps right now? What can we expect from the team?
Well, we finished place last year in our expansion season, and I think most people give us the benefit of the doubt that it is an expansion team, and you need to find your way in that first year. But what we can't afford to do is have that kind of season again. So right now we're 2 wins, two ties, and a loss, and our objective is to make the playoffs. And I think with the new coach that we brought in, with the fresh ideas that come with him, that will be something that we'll set our sights on right through the whole of the season.
Nice. Now, really quickly, do you guys try to develop players from within BC for the Whitecaps?
Yes, we actually have a development system that, and we have teams from as young as U14, and then U16 and U18. So they're Whitecaps teams. They play in the U16. The U18 teams play in a West Coast league. So we play against Seattle, Portland, and LA. And the U14 teams plays in an exhibition schedule. So we've already started. The best case scenario is that we have a conveyor belt of players that come through that system that play for our senior team and go on to play for Canada. And if they're good enough, they go on to play in Europe or South America.
Nice. Now, quickly, who do we want to look at on the Whitecaps right now as players?
I would say we have an American international, Jay DeMeritt, who played in the last World Cup. That's our captain and is a real stalwart at the back. And we have another player by the name of Gershon Coffey, who's from Ghana, 20 years old, but has unbelievable potential.
Nice. Bob Lenarduzzi, I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Check me out on Twitter. Like me on Facebook. We want to thank Aerocar, Provision as our sponsors, and next week's guest, Mocha Only, DJ Mickus, and DJ Sage. You think it's your time to shine, you need to get on the ground with your man Valentine. Thank Terrell Safferty, my man Bob Lenarduzzi, the president.
Thank you
for coming.
My pleasure.
Nice.
Thank you.